Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump unveils a 20-point plan to end the war in the Gaza Strip. Israel accepts President Donald Trump's plan, claiming it fulfills its war aims vis-à-vis Hamas. The proposed American plan aims to promote dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. U.S. President Donald Trump is spearheading a 20-point plan to end the war in Gaza, garnering international support to include Europe and the Arab and Muslim world, as well as Israel's acceptance of the proposed deal. During a joint press conference with visiting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Trump proclaimed that the deal would bring about peace in the Middle East.
So this is a big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East.
President Trump continued by highlighting the 20-point plan, which included input from European and Arab leaders, would effectively end the war in Gaza and introduce a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region.
This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace, which people have really liked, I must say. And these are done not just routinely done, these are done with total consideration and working with the nations that we're talking about. All of these nations have made contributions to those suggestions. I want to thank the leaders of many Arab and Muslim nations for their tremendous support in developing the proposal, along with many of our allies in Europe. Europe has been very much involved. I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for agreeing to the plan and for trusting that if we work together, we can bring an end to the death and destruction that we've seen for so many years, decades, even centuries, and begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region.
President Trump continued by emphasizing that if the plan, which was adopted by Israel, would be refused by the Islamist Hamas, Jerusalem would receive full backing from the United States to so-called finish the job against the terror groups in the Gaza Strip.
Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas, but I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do. Everyone understands that the ultimate result must be the elimination of any danger posed in the region, and that danger is caused by Hamas.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, for his part, announced his support for President Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza, which, according to the Israeli leader, achieves Jerusalem's war aims.
Your plan is consistent with the 5 principles my government set for the end of the war and the day after Hamas. Everybody asks, what is your plan for the day after Hamas? Here's our plan. Passed it in the cabinet. All our hostages, both those who are alive and those who died, all of them will return home immediately. Hamas will be disarmed. Gaza will be demilitarized. Israel will retain security responsibility, including a security perimeter for the foreseeable future. And lastly, Gaza will have a peaceful civilian administration that is run neither by Hamas nor by the Palestinian Authority.
It is important to explain that the Trump administration's 20-point plan is broadly encouraging for Israel, despite a couple of points which were undoubtedly hard to accept, to include the release of 250 convicted terrorists serving life sentences for murdering Israelis and likely foreign nationals, in addition to 1,700 other Gazan prisoners who were detained after the atrocities that Hamas had committed against Israel on October 7th of 2023. Moreover, per the American plan, quote, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty, while members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. Nevertheless, the most important pillars of the plan include the release of all 48 hostages from Hamas captivity within 48 hours from the start of the plan's implementation, while neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority would receive the reins of power in Gaza. Rather, an international body that would include an apolitical Palestinian committee, and which will be chaired by U.S. President Donald Trump himself, will govern the Gaza Strip until the moment when Palestinian Authority reforms comprehensively with concrete metrics in place to scrutinize genuine data-driven progress.
If Hamas agrees to your plan, Mr. President, the first step will be a modest withdrawal, followed by the release of all our hostages within 72 hours. The next step will be the establishment of an international body charged with fully disarming Hamas and demilitarizing Gaza. I appreciate your willingness to lead the body, Mr. President. I really appreciate it because you have a lot of things to do, and this is important. And it reflects the confidence that this will give everyone, that things will be followed up on all the commitments made. The fact that you're taking this on, I think, helps a lot to make sure that everything flows in the direction that we want. Now, if this international body succeeds, we will have permanently ended the war. Israel will conduct further withdrawals linked to the extent of disarmament and demilitarization, but will remain in the security perimeter for the foreseeable future. I think we should understand that we're giving everybody a chance to have this done peacefully, something that will achieve all our war objectives without any further bloodshed. But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done.
Meanwhile, world leaders have warmly welcomed President Donald Trump's peace plan for the Gaza Strip, voicing hope that it would ultimately lead to the internationally aspired two-state solution, since the 20-point outline explicitly notes, quote, the United States will establish a dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. Meanwhile, in Israel's capital, Jerusalem, Israelis voiced joy embroiled with skepticism over the prospects of Hamas actually accepting the American deal.
Great day for Israel. I don't see anyone from right to left who's going to go against it. The only question is now if Hamas will approve and end this misery that we are in it for almost 2 years.
You know, Hamas is going to have to take this deal. Am I optimistic about them? No, because we're dealing with terrorists. But when push comes to shove and you see the backing that Israel has in the final ultimatum, they really don't have a choice. It's do or die, you know? They either release all the hostages, the 20 that are alive and the 20 that are dead of blessed memory, or Israel will go in and finish the job themselves.
In the so-called West Bank districts of Judea, as well as in the Gaza Strip, Palestinians voiced anger, claiming the proposed deal was one-sided, favoring both Israel and the United States.
Trump promised yesterday that there will be peace. He said that there will be peace and the hostages will be released. But we as Palestinian citizens, where are we in this equation? Who is going to solve our situation? Who is going to save us from these Zionist crimes? Who is going to save us? The plan that they talked about yesterday abolishes the Palestinian state, which was recognized by many countries. And this is a new colonialism with a new approach and abolishes the capital of Palestine, Jerusalem. All the principles for the liberation of Palestine were canceled yesterday. For me, this is a new colonialism.
It is important to highlight that the Islamist Hamas said it would respond to President Trump's plan tomorrow. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. To update you on TV7 Israel's schedule, as Israel is expected to essentially shut down for the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur, TV7 Israel News will not broadcast both tomorrow and on Thursday. With that being said, we will air, God willing, our next news update before weekend on Friday. Moreover, please continue to pray for the prompt release of all of the hostages from Hamas captivity, for the troops still operating in the Gaza Strip and elsewhere, and for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you a Gemar Chatima Tova, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.